So here I have a set of nails that I've shortened. I still have some gel on them. I would have soaked it off if it was acrylic. But since it's a lot of work to file all the way down to my natural nail, I've just decided to remove as much as I can, since I will be putting some fade over it and stuff like that. So I'm using my ceramic cuticle bit. This one is from Max, the exclusive nails one, and this one I like a lot. I've used so many of them, and I don't know, different ones do different things, I guess, but this one for me is super fast, and I like to keep it on a pretty high speed. My drill, um, on my drill, I keep it on a 9, and I just lightly touch all over the nail, and it just feels really smooth to me and easy. So I used to use different kinds of bits on lower speed, but this one I like on a higher speed. Of course, do what feels comfortable for you. Don't rush. This step I feel is the most important in preventing lifting and stuff like that, so I decided to take my time for that. This video will be in parts because I want to show you guys how I do this in real time. I mean, I've watched a lot of videos like this, so I guess I like the most when I can see how long it actually takes to do things. So I get a little bit nauseous if I'm watching it too sped up, so I like to do this way. So I'm just finishing with my thumb, and I'm changing over to a very fine grit ceramic bit. This one's not from Max, this one's from eBay. And I'm just thinning out the gel that's already there. I just have clear gel on them. And mostly I want to thin out the tips because I will be placing some pink glitter acrylic on it and fading it upwards towards the middle of the nail. So for that I need it to be thin so they won't be thick on the front. That's a pet peeve. It's horrible when I see nails like that, especially when they're square. So I'm just really thinning out the sides of the nails all over the whole entire nail, and I'm trying to remove any lifting. I did have a little bit of lifting this time. I had somebody else do my set, and we were trying out a new gel, and it wasn't quite as good as the last one, but these things happen. So I'm just going all over the nail. This one I'm putting a little bit more pressure on the front, as you can see, and all the dust is going straight into my Valentino. I just bought this machine and I am so happy with it. I have dust allergies and asthma, so you can imagine my life if I'm doing nails. It's not fun. I have trouble breathing at night and stuff like that if I don't. I mean, I always use masks, but it just still gets all over the place, all over the apartment. So I finally decided to splurge on this product, and of course the shipping was high over to Iceland, so it's not as easy as for the people who live in the US or something to buy it. I mean, the product itself is pretty expensive, but it's more expensive to have it shipped also. So as you can see, I'm still just thinning them out. I decided to use this fine one because my natural nail is pretty close, and I was using this to remove lifting as well. So after that, I changed to a sanding band, which is what I'm going to use now. And this line out is from NSI, and I really like to put that around where the lifting is, those areas. And so I finished putting on the NSI line out, which I feel like just melts everything a little bit better. I like to put it where the lifting is to make my job a little bit easier around that area to remove. So I'm just using my sanding band on low speed, well, kind of like medium. I would say I put it around 7 on my drill, and this is only while I am still on the gel. I'm not on my natural nail. I'm just thinning out and smoothing out a little bit further and removing any lifting that is still there. So I'm just gonna leave you guys to finish watching that. I have lowered my drill on to about 2 or 3 in speed. I believe it was a 2. And I'm going over the natural nail now. This is the speed I like to use when I'm going over the new nail growth, and I'm just etching out that area, removing any shine. And as you can see, you can actually see the sanding band spinning. It's that slow because if I press, it just kind of stops. So I'm just going lightly over that with the sanding band on all of the nails. As you can tell, I'm trying to be very thorough on the sides, which is my problem area. I tend to get a lot of lifting around the sides. I think it's because I have so much skin there. As you can see, my skin kind of grows around the nails, and it's kind of like fat, you know? So my nail is kind of in the finger. Some nails like to grow a little bit more up out of the finger, which is really nice, but I do not have that. I have very flat natural nails, and they like to give me problems sometimes with the sides. But if the prep is on point, I do not have any lifting whatsoever, so I like to take my time with that. You know, it's like just the most important step in my opinion. So I'm just gonna leave you here again to finish watching that. So I have switched to nail file, hand file, and I am just removing any little bit that's left of lifting on the sides. It's a little bit awkward doing it on camera, so I was taking a little bit longer with it than normally, I guess. But I'm just kind of smoothing out that area. Since I am doing fade on the front, on the tip, and then I'm going to be putting on clear gel, so I did not want any lifting or infill lines to show through the gel. It would be very horrible. I don't like the way that looks. If you're using completely clear, you could put some cover gel if you want it, but I was just feeling this old-fashioned clear nails with a little bit of a French fade this time, so I'm just finishing doing that using the NSI line out to help me a little bit. You could also use a primer for this, it would do the same thing. And here I'm showing you my prep products. These are the products that I like to use for the natural nail. So this is the pH bond from Harmony, and this is a dehydrator. So you could also use alcohol, but I tend to use both. I clean the nails with alcohol and a brush to get rid of the dust, and then I put that on. And after that, oh, excuse me, it's pretty late in here. After that, I put the primer. I did put 2 coats of the pH bond, and I noticed over there that I felt it still looked a little bit shiny, so I just put, I etched it a little bit more with my nail file and put another coat of the dehydrator to see if it was chalky enough. And now I'm putting on the primer. So I only put this around my natural nail growth, and of course if I have removed any of the gel from my natural nail on the tip, I would have put the primer there also. Now I'm going in with the acrylic. This, I feel like I get more lifting with acrylic if I use it around my cuticle, but I do like the strength of it, so I tend to find it easier also to use acrylic around the tips. If I'm doing any kind of glitter design, it takes so much shorter, and I just really like it. So this pink acrylic is, I think it's called Pink Kitty or something like that. It's from Max, also the Exclusive Nails collection. You can buy it, I think that's what the website's called, but you can find him on Instagram also. So I'm just putting it right on the tip and just fading it a little bit up. I didn't want it to go too high, and then I'm trying to make sure to push it towards the free edge as well, because it's a little bit hard to see in this angle when I'm doing it in front of the camera, where it's missing a little bit of color on the nail. I didn't want the white to show through, and I'm just adding a little bit more where I feel like I need it because I wanted it to sparkle. I did think this one would sparkle a lot more. Perhaps if you would put down some colored base or something, or build up the entire nail with this stuff, then it would, but I did feel like it showed a little bit of clear through in some areas since I was doing it pretty thin, and of course we'll be filing afterwards to make it even thinner. I didn't feel like it sparkled enough. I really like glitter, so I like my nails really sparkly. But it's a beautiful color anyway. It's got a lot of different types of iridescent chunks in it, and I would recommend it. Just maybe Maybe I would add a little bit more glitter into it and stir it to my liking. Um, anyway, I'm just finishing up the little one, checking out if everything's okay, and then moving on to the thumb. You can see here how flat my nails are, and it still even has gel on it, so I I have really flat nails. I wish I was one of those with the like really gorgeous nail beds, but I've learned to love mine the way they are. And that's the beauty of nails. You can just make any nail pretty, just gotta work with what you've got. So it's just, I'm placing the ball in the middle, moving it from side to side to try to cover, as you can see here, a little bit of a white spot on the nail, and fading it upwards. And I'm fading it really thinly upwards. I'm not dragging all the product up. Now I am moving on to my gel because, like I said, I feel like I get more lifting with acrylic around the nails. I guess because it's less flexible. So my nails are pretty curved around the sidewalls around on some of the fingers, and that's why I have this problem area that it just tends to lift away from my nail. But the gel kind of just melts in and curves around the nail. So, I mean, I like both, but why not use both of them together if it's easier for you? I really like it. Plus, the clear gel is always so clear, you know. So I just dotted on the fingers a little bit of product. You don't need a whole lot from this. This is the foundation gel from Harmony, and I just take the brush one out and dot a little bit of product on each nail. And once I'm done with all 10 nails on my clients, there's usually everything finished on the brush, and I can go back in and start smoothing it out. I did cure that in between, and now I'm moving on to my clear builder gel, and I'm just putting a thin layer over all of the nails, including the acrylic. I did not buff the acrylic after applying it. You don't need to since it's already matte. So when I do a thin layer of builder on all of the nails, I also feel like it's just smoother around the cuticles and you don't need to file as much, you know. So I feel like it helps with lifting also. So it just melts everything really nicely in. So I'm just closing around the edges as well. Just since we have acrylic and then I have gel, so I didn't want it to perhaps separate or something like that. So just precaution, I guess. And I did cure that for 1 minute in my LED lamp. You should do it for 2 if you have a UV. And now I'm putting another smooth thin layer over the nail. I like to do this before I start building the nail because I just feel like everything melts together and it just self levels really easy. And I'm just adding a little bit on the front. I'm not gonna have to add a lot of gel on these nails since they're so short, and I want them to be as thin as possible and really natural. And since I already have super flat nails, I do not need a lot of product. I already had some gel left on my nails before we applied the acrylic, and you can see what it looks like now. And I'm just gonna flip it over to get all the gel to go to the place where I want it, kind of in the middle, and I just cured that. onto the next finger, I'm doing the same thing and trying to go really carefully around the sidewalls. Seriously, guys, that's my most problem area, especially on this finger and the next finger. As you can see, I have a lot of skin around this finger. The nail kind of grows down into the finger, down into the skin, so it's pretty annoying. I'm just adding a little bit where I see some dents, and I do flip them over all the time before I cure them. And I'm just gonna leave you guys to finish watching the rest of the nails. As you can see here, I'm flipping it over. I don't show it all the time, but I do like to do that. So this is what the nails look like after I've put the builder gel on them before I filed. And they're pretty shiny. I'm just removing the tacky layer before I start filing them into shape. I'm putting my Valentino on a little bit of a higher speed just to catch most of the dust, and I am flipping the nail file over this way since I do have really short nails this time, and when I do, I like them to be completely square. If you do it this way on the side, it doesn't work as well, I feel like. It just leaves a little bit of a curve in the middle, and I do like it better when I flip the file on that angle. So I guess I'm just working on the sides a little bit, smoothing that around before I move on to my drill. So I have the e-file on like a 7 or 8 speed, and I am just going over the structure, trying to thin out the freehats a little bit without taking too much of the glitter off. As you can see where the shiny bits are when you're filing over, that's where the dents would be. So I never skip filing, even if I feel like they look perfect. I just always at least buff over them to see where the dents and the grooves are. It's just, it makes such a difference in the way that the nail will look under light and stuff like that. It makes everything a much more professional, and your clients will really like you for it. So I'm just going around the side walls and the cuticles, blending that in with my natural nail. I do not like any kind of like bridge around that area. Once it grows out, I do not like to see where the nail enhancement is, if you know what I mean. I just like it to look as natural as possible, and some people like to put nail polish over their nails when they're growing out, and it just looks really ugly when you see that infill line kind of, and you put nail polish over it. So I like to try to blend the nail, blend the gel or acrylic as smoothly with the nail as I can for me and my clients. Of course, you do your best. You can also use a hand file for that. I just feel like this is faster, and I can get more closely around all the areas without putting the nail file in my skin. Especially on myself, I feel like I'm a little bit more rough. I don't really care if I would hurt myself a little bit, but it's harder with your clients, of course, because you don't know what would hurt them. So I just like to be safe and go with my e-file around. If I'm saying my drill, I mean my e-file. I just always call it drill. I don't know. It's because in Icelandic we just call it a drill. So there's no kind of Icelandic name for it other than nail drill. So that's why I just automatically translate it into a drill. So hope you're not too bothered with that. You know what I mean. Some people like to be really professional about the names, and it annoys the bejesus out of them. Now I'm just buffing over the nail with my pink buffer. This was also from Max. I forgot what it's called. It's got really, it's a cute name on the buffer. I don't know, but I think it's the only buffer that he sells, so you should be, to be really easy for you guys to find it on the website. I just recently purchased some of these products because there's a woman here in Iceland that has this, she's distributing for him, so it was really easy for me to get my hands on these products. I have been following him on Instagram for a while, and I always wanted to try his products, so I got really excited when she started selling them in here. It's much easier for me than having to have them shipped over. So I'm just refining everything now with a really fine grit file. This one is so fine that I would use it on a natural nail. So I'm just going around the edges. I like to use a really fine one for that so I don't cut myself, I don't hurt myself, since I do have a lot of skin around there. And I like to do the same thing with my clients. into a little bit of hand painting. Usually I don't do this on myself. I find it very annoying to have to do my right hand with my left hand. So most of the times, even if I would do something nice, I just leave the other hand with some dots or something. But this design was really easy. I use a small brush I got from eBay, and I'm using this white painting gel. It is a gel, and it is for painting, so you would have to cure that in the lamp, which I really like, so it's not like drying on you, and not getting more stiff while you're working with it, like I feel acrylic paint does. You have to keep adding water and just dries out, and um, doesn't give you much pigment, I guess. So I'm just doing a little bit of a lace design. I'm not um, very much of an artist, I guess, with the nails, drawing on them. I didn't look at any photos. I just remembered some of the lace designs that I've had, and I was really lazy, so I just did something. But it turned out to look really nice, and I guess from afar, everything like this looks really nice. I feel like we always judge ourselves so much more, but the clients and other people, they're like, oh my God, how did you do that? But most of these things are pretty easy. You just do the same thing over and over, and using my finger as a cleaner, I guess. So I'm just putting dots with a dotting tool, um, kind of in between where the lines are. I feel like it gives it a more lacy feel. And here's what it looks like. Really shaky, sorry. And I decided um, to do a little bit of a different one on this finger. It should be a little bit more curved, so I'm doing a curved line first instead of a straight line. I'm really just going along as I'm doing it. I didn't have anything planned really. I'm just doing something, and I did remove 2 times from the last finger that I did, and just decided to do dots instead because it was just, I guess I got too tired. It wouldn't work. So if you don't like it, just remove it. It doesn't matter. Even if it's your clients, they will just appreciate that you're not just gonna leave it on there, even if you don't like it. Sometimes I feel like it's awkward if you do a mistake and you have to remove it. But of course, if it was me and somebody was doing it on me, I would just be like, no problem. And I would appreciate both the effort and also that they did remove it before curing and decided to change it to something else, because nobody's perfect. Nobody can do the everything, the designs, and especially hand painting. It's such a small canvas, so I feel like it's even harder to do on nails than paintings and stuff like that. So I'm doing a lace design on the top as well. I just did a line, and then I'm doing these little circles, half circles, and I hadn't decided what I wanted to do to finish it, so I was just going back and forth between both of the lace designs, but I just kept it simple and did the lines again. And this one's one of my favorite nails, so it did work out to be really good.
On my lips.
Add some Swarovskis, and I'm just putting a little bit of glue on my nails. I just use orange wood stick for that, and then some pinching tool that I have to place them on. I don't use a lot of Swarovskis. I don't really use rhinestones that much either. I guess it's not really that popular with my clients. I was having trouble deciding where to place these Swarovskis, so I just removed them before they got stuck. And I just decided to keep it simple with two of them over there. I'm just placing a little bit of glue. This is super glue, and I think it works amazing. I've never been the one to use glue for stones. I always use gel to adhere them, but for some reason, I mean, I didn't want to ruin the cut of the Swarovskis in case I would like drop them or put gel on them or smudge them or something. So I just decided to try glue since it was my own hands anyway. And believe me, they have stayed on without any problem. So I do recommend using some really strong glue. This one doesn't turn white when you put it on, so some of the glues that I have used do turn white. I don't know really what the difference is. This one's pretty thick and I really like it. And I just decided to put a little bit of dots on some of the nails. Over there I was just plucking something off. There was a little bit of glue still on there from the stone that I had decided to put on and removed. So I used my e-file to smooth it out a little bit before I put these dots on. And this is just random, I'm just doing something. I think once you put the shine on, everything just looks good, so I wasn't too bothered with making everything perfect. once I'm finished, I'm putting on the top shine. This is a no wipe top glass, and I'm just putting it around most of the nail first, trying to get a little bit in the corners. I'm not worrying about the stones right now and around the cuticles, because I'm gonna change over with a smaller brush to do that later. And then I would just dip it into the bottle with the top shine and go around the stones and the cuticles. So it's a little bit of a more work than you would usually just put the top shine over, but I feel like if you put it around the stones, it also helps to keep them in place for longer. Here I'm switching over to the brush, and I just dipped into the gloss bottle, and I'm just going around the stones, and I do that on all of the fingers. I'm just using the orange wood stick to remove anything that has leaked into the sides before curing the nails, and then I cure them for 1 minute in my LED lamp. I decided that I did not have enough glitter on the nails, so I turned to my trusty holographic um, in clear gel. This is a silver holographic, and I use it all the time. This one is from Ann Little. It's on eBay, and it's my favorite. I had 2 bottles of it, and this goes with everything, all the colors. It goes on anything. And then I'm just curing that and then putting the top shine over again, since I got a little bit indecisive. Of course, you should have put the glitter on before you put the gloss the first time, the top shine, to save yourself some time. But since I decided it wasn't sparkly enough, I just had to redo it a little bit. That's fine. After I put the top shine on, I make sure that the sides of my nails, the skin is not stuck. Sometimes it leaks a little bit to the sides, so I just removed any of the top shine that would have been stuck and sharpened the edges a little bit with a fine grit file, and I'm just removing a little bit of this gel acrylic paint kind of thing from my fingers, and that's about it. So this is what the nails look like once they're done. I decided to put some more bling on them on the thumb, since this was kind of for my belly photo shoot for my pregnancy. And I was gonna make a heart around my belly button like most people do, so I wanted them to be really blinged up. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm gonna be posting more videos soon.